let's look at the tensions. Let's look at the problems that existed in the United States right after World War I, so the early part of the 1920s. First, economic tensions. There are economic problems in America. Let's go over the causes first. Remember, during World War I, the economy had been centered around war production. Even before the United States officially entered the war, we had produced large amounts of wartime goods to sell to Britain and France and Russia later. Because our economy had been so centered on war production, it creates problems when the war is over, especially because the government had no plans for demobilization. Mobilization is when you take your country from peacetime to wartime. Demobilization is when you take your country from wartime back to peacetime. Well, the government had no official plan for how to smoothly accomplish demobilization. The federal government had been a major buyer, a major consumer, a major customer during World War I. And overnight, the federal government doesn't need all of that stuff anymore. It doesn't need the bullets. It doesn't need the shells. It doesn't need the guns, the tanks, the uniforms, the tents, the parachutes, the airplanes, the ships. So a lot of those federal government contracts are canceled. Those wartime contracts are canceled. And companies are left with no customer. Additionally, the Army discharges nearly 4 million veterans. Not because they did a bad job. No, they did a great job. So good a job that the war is over. And now we don't need that many soldiers. And keeping soldiers is expensive. So it would be irresponsible for the government to keep paying them when we don't need them. So they discharge nearly 4 million soldiers. This floods the labor market. Now there's 4 million men looking for work who used to be employed as a soldier. So let's look at the effects next. As a result, in part to those contracts being canceled, hundreds of factories across the United States close. And as a result, millions of Americans are looking for work. Millions of Americans lose their job. And when unemployment is high, the standard of living decreases. What people are willing and able to buy goes down. And our economy lapses into what we would call a recession. Production is down, unemployment is up. And anytime that happens, crime increases. Anytime there's a recession, crime increases in the United States. So go ahead and write at least one cause of the post-war tension over economics in the oval, and then list at least 3 effects of the post-war tension, the post-war economic tension in the corresponding rectangle. After you've done that, go read section 3 from the book or the PDF that's posted on Canvas on labor tensions, and then complete the notes the same way. Complete the oval and complete the box.